Oh, and now something less simple. This is the proxy policy. It actually is a proxy resolution that we took up at the last board meeting. And the board felt that there was insufficient information to fully examine this topic and make a decision. During the course of the last month, Dave and I have worked together quite a bit and have changed the resolution in minor ways. Just improved the wording, I think, restructured it a little bit. But the intent of the resolution and the spirit of the resolution is identical to what you saw the first time. In the package that you have now, you also have the legal opinion from Stephen Moriarty, which dates back to 2003. And you also have the voting rules that have been used, that were used for the 2007 election, and in a very similar form were used for a couple of elections previous to that. So there's been quite a bit of history now with this set of rules. We've been using it for, I believe, since the governing documents referendum. Is that right, Pat?
It was at least 2006. I'm not sure that it was 2005. Definitely 2006, because I think we put those together when we were without a general manager. So that was
for the governing documents resolution.
Yeah, right.
That was the first time this was put together in this format, and we've used it for 2 board elections since then. These are the materials that the board asked me to pull together for hopefully the final consideration of this resolution. Being the author of the resolution, I would like to move its passage as written. So now let's discuss. Dave?
All right. Wayne knows I feel fairly strongly about this on numerous points. I have had some inputs into this. I think it's a good document. However, I don't really, I have a hard time agreeing with it the way it's written. I still feel, and anxious to hear what other people think, I've had a month to think about it, some key things. First of all, I don't think that this resolution or this practice of doing proxies is in line with our bylaws and the current practice we've been doing for the past few years. I just don't think our bylaw supports that. That's point one. And point two is the way I read the state text of the Non-Stock Corporation Act. It's a matter of interpretation, agreed, and the lawyers have interpreted it a different way than I do. But to me, it's not a requirement to have proxies. So I still have a problem with this conceptually. Having said that, I have one other specific comment, that paragraph 6, thought about this a little bit too, and Wayne and I talked about this a little bit. Earliest rather than latest proxies, if multiple proxies are submitted. I really think that should be the latest one, not the earliest one. And I think we could fix that by putting a phrase in paragraph 3 and then deleting paragraph 6. And let me just try this on you. In paragraph 3, we talk about how you revoke proxies. And one way is you submit to the secretary a written notice. I'm saying a second way, I would insert right after that first one, is by the member submitting a more recent proxy. And then the third way would be by the member casting a vote by absentee ballot, and the fourth, in-person ballot. So I'm saying insert, if you insert that in there, then I think you could strike number 6 in entirety. And I've gone and researched this quite a bit in different states, and I have yet to find, I've had 3 states, the only 3 that I've found, or cities, Chicago, New York, and someplace in Minnesota, and they all say that, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about this, that it's the latest one that should count, not the earliest one. So I would make that change regardless of what happens here, but I still don't agree with this whole thing.
It is the latest one, and I think that the language that you suggested in the elimination of that one paragraph is fine from a legal standpoint.
There really are two issues here, so let's discuss them separately so we don't get confused. The first issue that Dave brought up is that he believes we do not need a proxy, that the, which act is it, the Non-Stop Corporation Act does not require us to have a proxy. I believe it does require us to have a proxy, and our lawyer, Stephen Moriarty, the lawyer at the time, believed it did require us to have a proxy. I think being on the safe side of this is the best place to be. Proxies are not particularly dangerous, and if we allow them, we're taking the high road. There's no reason to try to find a way not to offer the option of a proxy. I think by providing it, we are taking the high road, giving our members of our community the most possible options that they can have for expressing themselves in an election or a referendum. And I think the statute requires us to, and our lawyers thinks that too. And that's why I would be in favor of continuing to have proxies.
Comment to Dave, and we realize where you are on this. I mean, we've talked about it. But I think as a board, regardless of whether a board member believes is an interpretation, and I can understand how you interpret what's said, because I think it's the word. But I think we have to go by what our legal advice is giving us. Now, I'm not saying anything more about what the proxy ought to be, but we've got a legal opinion on this. We did say, did we not, that if we needed to, we could go get another one, but I don't think we should be in the business of debating our legal, the thing we've asked for. I mean, I think we get in trouble with doing that, because it can be pointed out in the law, hey, your attorney said you should do this, and you said, yeah, well, I'm not going to do it. I think that's dangerous, Dave. Now, having said that, then we get to the proxy itself, and while Wayne, the statement of it's giving our members and I'm not sure of your words, taking the high road and the greatest opportunity to let them express their views, we put a very restrictive nature on the proxy. We've not just said a proxy can be whatever you want it to be. You can give someone in the community or elsewhere the right to vote your proxy for the next 5 years with no instruction. So, I mean, that's the second piece of the voting, the proxy itself.
The resolution does say correct the proxy.
Yes, it does. I understand that.
Okay, we're still debating whether we should offer proxies or not in our election process.
So maybe that's where we get through that point first, then we...
Okay. Robin, did you have a comment on that particular item of debate?
I was just going to quote the Non-Stock Corporation Act, which says an appointment of a proxy is effective when a signed appointment form or an electronic transmission of the appointment is received by the inspectors of election, blah, blah. An appointment is valid for 11 months. And that's just what your document says.
Mm-hmm. So that was in favor of having proxies?
I think we have to go with, you asked me to look at this, I think we have to go with what our legal counsel advises. And I think the act basically says, you could say that you can't vote by proxy. We could make that decision, but I'm with Wayne that I think that we should provide the members every opportunity to vote whatever way they want.
Well, and that, if we did that, that would have to be in our bylaws, and to change the bylaws, we can't just go change our bylaws.
We cannot change our bylaws.
The bylaws would have to specifically state.
But they couldn't.
Right.